Finding water inside your washing machine drum when the appliance has not been used can be confusing. You may finish a cycle, remove the laundry, and leave the drum empty, only to discover several hours later that water has appeared again. In other cases, the water is already there the next morning. This is not something you should ignore, because the source may be a defective inlet valve, a drainage problem, or wastewater flowing back into the machine. Before doing anything, look closely at the water. Is it clean and clear, or is it dirty, cloudy, or unpleasant smelling? This simple observation can provide an important clue. Clean water usually points toward the water supply side of the washing machine. Dirty or smelly water is more likely to be connected with the drain hose, standpipe, sink connection, or household drainage system. If clean water slowly appears while the washing machine is switched off, the most likely cause is a leaking water inlet valve. This internal valve controls the flow of hot and cold water into the appliance. It should remain completely closed when the machine is not filling. However, mineral deposits, debris, wear, or an internal mechanical failure can prevent it from sealing properly. When this happens, water may enter very slowly. You might not hear it, and the drum may take several hours to fill enough for the problem to become noticeable. Unplugging the washing machine may not stop this type of leak, because the valve can be failing mechanically rather than electrically. A useful test is to empty the machine and close both the hot and cold water supply taps behind it. Check the drum again after several hours. If no additional water appears while the taps are closed, the inlet valve is a strong suspect. Keep the taps closed when the washer is not being used until the appliance can be repaired. Do not rely on closing the taps as a permanent solution. A leaking inlet valve will normally need to be replaced. This repair requires access to internal components and must be performed correctly to avoid leaks and electrical hazards. Contact a qualified appliance technician unless you have the appropriate repair experience and model-specific instructions. Also, inspect the external water supply hoses and their connections. Look for cracks, bulges, corrosion, dampness, or dripping around the taps and the back of the machine. A leaking hose usually causes water outside the washer rather than inside the drum, but every visible connection should still be checked. Turn off the water immediately if a hose is damaged. If the water inside the drum is dirty, grey, or smells like a drain, it may be flowing back through the washing machine's drain hose. This can happen when the hose has been installed incorrectly or pushed too far into the standpipe. The hose should be secured at the correct height and should not form an airtight seal with the drain pipe. An air gap around the drain hose is important because it helps prevent siphoning. Installation requirements vary between washing machine models, so check the manual rather than relying on a universal measurement. A hose that is too low, inserted too deeply, submerged in standing water, or sealed tightly into the pipe can contribute to drainage and backflow problems. The household drain may also be partially blocked. When a sink, toilet, shower, or another appliance releases water, pressure inside a restricted drain can push wastewater toward the washing machine hose. Pay attention to whether the problem appears after using a nearby sink or dishwasher. Slow draining fixtures, gurgling sounds, or unpleasant odors can also suggest a plumbing problem. Check the accessible section of the drain hose for kinks, crushing, or visible blockages. Make sure it has not slipped down from its support. Do not disconnect it without preparing a bucket and towels, because it may contain a considerable amount of water. If wastewater is backing up through the standpipe, a plumber may be needed rather than an appliance technician. Another possibility is that the washer did not remove all the water from the previous cycle. A blocked pump filter, obstructed drain hose, or malfunctioning drain pump can leave water inside the appliance. This water is normally present immediately after the cycle rather than appearing gradually many hours later. If your front-loading washing machine has an accessible pump filter, consult the user manual before opening it. Switch off the appliance, unplug it, and allow hot wash water to cool. Many machines have a small emergency drain hose near the filter. Drain the water into a shallow container before loosening the filter. Open the filter slowly because water may escape quickly. Remove lint, coins, buttons, hair, small pieces of fabric, and other debris. Be careful because broken glass or sharp objects may be hidden inside. Check whether the pump impeller can move, but never force it or place your fingers deeply inside the pump housing. Reinstall the filter securely. An incorrectly fitted filter can leak during the next cycle. If the washer still does not drain, the pump runs without removing water, or an error code appears, professional service may be required. A small amount of moisture in the door seal of a front-loading washer can be normal. Water may collect in the folds of the rubber gasket, especially when lint, pet hair, or detergent residue blocks the small drainage openings. Wipe the seal regularly and remove any trapped debris. However, a visible pool of water covering the bottom of the drum is different and should be investigated. Do not start another wash if the drum contains an unexplained amount of water. Never open a front-loading washer door when the water level is above the bottom of the door opening. Disconnect the power and close the supply taps if the water continues rising. The timing of the problem can help identify the cause. Water that appears slowly while the appliance is unused often indicates a leaking inlet valve. Dirty water appearing after nearby plumbing has been used suggests drain backflow. Water left immediately after a cycle points more toward a blocked filter, obstructed hose, or drain pump problem. Once the source has been identified, deal with it promptly. A small amount of water today can become an overflowing drum tomorrow. Until the problem is repaired, close the washing machine's water supply taps after use, avoid leaving the appliance operating unattended, and check the surrounding floor for leaks. Water inside an unused washing machine is usually manageable when you approach the problem logically. Determine whether the water is clean or dirty, check when it appears, isolate the water supply, inspect the drain installation, and clean only the components your manual identifies as user accessible. When the cause is unclear or internal repair is necessary, contact a qualified technician or plumber.